listening to Our Two Satoshis podcast with hosts Justin and Billy from CryptoBiz.com.
So, Billy, you made a prediction on our last podcast that pretty much came true.
Yeah, but first, I just want to say that, guys, we would have started about half an hour ago. We sat here trying to figure out what the best way to start this thing was.
Like we do it every time.
Been sitting here drinking, just like, what should we say? Anyways, yeah, this is the struggle that we deal with. So yeah, on our last episode, I made the prediction that we would hit or bottom out 6,500. And unfortunately, that has come true. And
close.
Yeah, we did. It was like 65.03 and 71 cents, I think. You can't really get much closer than that, but I'm not really too proud of it, though, because I'm still losing money because of it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for what it's worth, it did come true.
So do you think that's the bottom, or do you think that it's going to go lower?
I think we bottomed out. I think we're sitting at like 6,800 right now, give or take. I think this is the bottom of the cup in the cup and handle chart pattern. At least I hope it is. Because if it's not, we have a lot of ground to cover.
I agree with that assessment. I hope this is the bottom of it as well.
If 6,500 is not the bottom, we're in for a drop. But I'm very confident that 6,500 was it.
So normally Billy and I do these podcasts remotely because he is, we're about an hour apart from each other.
Yeah.
But we happen to be doing this in the confines of my office tonight.
CryptoFizz headquarters.
CryptoFizz headquarters. Drinking a little bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
Blanton's is tasting good tonight.
Never had it.
It's good.
Never had Blanton's.
It's good. You should. I don't know where it's actually made, but it's pretty cool. The tops are a jockey on a horse.
Nice.
And every single top has a letter on it. One of the letters of Blanton's. And if you spell those out, like you buy them periodically because they change the tops out like every quarter, it's the jockey running with the horse.
Nice.
It's pretty cool. But
right.
Enough of that.
See what they did there.
Enough of that. So yeah, Billy is up here at my location tonight because we are actually going to a conference tomorrow on about Microsoft. Can't even talk. Microsoft Azure.
Yeah, that's what Syscoin utilizes that platform.
Yep. One of our favorites.
Yeah. So of course we got to throw in Syscoin.
Yeah.
No, it should be cool. Maybe we'll do a little vlog on the way home on the train.
Yeah.
After too many cocktails.
Actually, before we go further into that, I do want to touch on one thing because in our last podcast we were talking about, we've been talking about this for months about gearing up for Syscoin and Syscoin masternodes and everything. And so Syscoin was supposed to launch, what was it, 2.0 or 3.0?
3.0.
3.0.
Masternodes and all that jazz.
Yeah, that was supposed to happen on March 31st. So we talked about that on our last podcast because that was a few days before the end of the month in March. But it turns out that they pushed it out until April.
End of April. I think it was the 30th, yeah. About a month. Pushed it a month out just to basically cover their asses. Just given all the recent new regulations that have come out from the SEC and these various government offices. They just want to make sure they're doing right by their investors, and the parent company Block Foundry is going to go public here soon, so they're trying to do the right thing, make sure they aren't breaking any laws, which is totally cool. I respect that. The FOMO in me is tough to deal with, but just the way it goes,
Well, it sucks. It sucks when you're gearing up for something like we were, and then that happens. But on the flip side, I appreciate the steps that they are taking to do that.
They're an actual legit company.
Exactly.
Or acting like it too.
Exactly. It's unlike that Proton masternode that I had set up through the Gen platform. They decided that 2 days after I set up the masternode that instead of 1,000 coin requirement, it's now 5,000, and you needed a new wallet, and you had to mandatory upgrade to the wallet. And I have a Mac, and they didn't put out a Mac release for the wallet. Like,
Yeah, that's not how you do it.
no.
Which, by the way, we've been going ham on these masternodes on the GenCoin platform. I'm pretty sure we mentioned that on the last episode. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, definitely do it. GenCoin.io. It's a turnkey masternode service. I've been throwing a ton of money into that thing.
Yeah, it's been awesome. And actually, with the coolest part about that is, so they basically, you pay them a monthly hosting fee, which comes out to about $12. And what they do is they set up the virtual private server for you. They set up all the code on there through their their UI on their website. And so all along, to pay that $12 fee, which you have to do it monthly, you have to renew it, they've accepted Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash.
Yep.
Well, they are now releasing, I don't know if it's fully baked yet, but
I mean, it's definitely in the works. They're basically going to be transitioning to their own native token, which is the GenCoin.
yeah.
And you can, in the future, short term, that's going to be the only token you can use to actually buy these masternodes. So it's a real utility token.
Or pay for the masternode service.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome because, I mean, I think the last time I checked, it was under 1 million Gen in circulation. So you set up a Gen masternode, and then you can pay for the services with Gen. I mean, the total, or the current circulating supply being under 1 million.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
Yeah.
It's, for me, that excites me because it separates itself from all these other masternodes that are out there. Because basically what you have is this huge saturated market that have all forked the Dash masternode model. And they don't offer anything but just that. It's a carbon copy of what Dash did. So you're basically putting your money into these ghost projects for a potential short-term profit from your masternode. But with Gen, there's an actual utility to it now. And there's a lot of value because they're giving you this interface that makes setting it up so much easier versus these other guys that basically give you maybe a text file that's written in like Japanese. You gotta throw into Google and figure that shit out. So I highly recommend those guys. We aren't getting paid to say this, by the way.
Well, I mean, the thing about it, though, is that the service is it's peanuts, the cost. I mean, if you think about it,
Totally worth $12.
If you're going to do a masternode on your own, you're going to have to pay for a virtual private server online, which is going to cost you $5-6, something like that.
Yep.
You're paying $12, and they're doing everything for you.
Exactly.
I mean, and I briefly talked there about Proton Coin. I had actually set up a masternode on GenCoin Network with Proton. And then Proton decided to pull this little switcheroo on their investors and make it 5,000 coins required for the masternode rather than 1,000. Well, the thing I can say about GenCoin that I like about them is they actually removed Proton from their network because of what they did to their investors.
Exactly.
So that shows you right there that they about GenCoin and their what word am I looking for here? Their character. Of what they do, they're looking out for their users. So
yeah, they actually give a shit about their product and their user base. I mean, they have a really responsive Discord channel. If you have an issue trying to set up your masternode, you just jump into Discord and say, "Hey, here's my issue. What's going on?" And usually within like a minute or less, somebody will hit you up and be like, "Hey, let's talk. Let's do a DM."
Yeah. They've been awesome over there.
Yeah, I can't recommend them enough.
I got to give a shout out to Rattler, Bretex.
Bretex.
Yeah.
Was it MLM, MTLM? I don't know. There's a lot of M's and L's in there.
But yeah, their team has been awesome over at GenCoin, so we love them. So that's definitely what we've been into. You should be checking it out. The other thing that's kind of come across our docket this week that's in all the news is Verge. And I mean, how do we even peel back all the layers on
well,
this?
I'm going to be really cheesy and say Verge is on the verge of either a fucking falling off a cliff or bouncing off the moon. I can't tell which one yet. There's kind of two different things happening. I guess I'll start with the worst one.
Yeah. Are you gonna go with the worst here?
Yeah.
We'll go with the worst. We'll make it what do they call it? A shit sandwich. So let's start with something good here. So let's hit it with good. So Verge is apparently on the verge of, like he said, a big partnership. So what's the big partnership going to be?
Right. So they aren't, because of NDAs and all that stuff. They aren't going to say who their partner is. But what they have said is that it's going to be a exclusive partnership for a duration of time. So there's going to be some kind of advantage there. It's a global partnership. So it's going to include an audience that's beyond crypto.
So it's an exclusive partnership for an exclusive amount of time with an exclusive audience.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening here that they're being very,
And in order for them to tweet it, they had to raise money from
right.
investors.
So basically, to make this partnership happen, they had to raise a certain amount of funds, which I don't understand. And so that, in their words, they've basically said this partnership is going to be like the biggest partnership to happen in crypto.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge, like the biggest thing that happened in crypto ever. So who the hell knows what's going to happen here?
And the announcement's supposed to come, the 17th?
The 17th, yep.
Yeah, so the announcement's going to be from their own island in the Cayman Islands that they bought with this fundraiser money. No, just joking, obviously. But we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with the partnership. It's something that's huge, apparently.
Verge has been in and out of the news a lot in the past couple of months. I mean, they got pumped by McAfee. He's a really big fan of a lot of these security tokens, these anonymous tokens. So things like Dash, Monero.
Monero was the big one that he had,
yeah. And a couple other ones that are really focused on that anonymous factor.
But didn't you say you said Verge is a fork of Doge, right?
Yeah, so they actually started out as a fork of Dogecoin back in like 2014, 2015. And I guess since then they've kind of ramped up production and some better development and made it their own thing. But I also saw they're aiming to be the first and only anonymous coin that is going to utilize smart contracts. So that's interesting.
It's very interesting. Let's peel back the layers a little bit on that, though, because it was very exciting. You did some research on it, but the cool part about Verge, supposedly, in which they have a working product, is that they have the public blockchain, but then you have the ability to switch to a private blockchain as well, right?
Yeah. So they have I'm not sure how to pronounce this, the Wraith, WRAITH protocol. Which I believe was actually launched not too long ago. But basically, it means that you can seamlessly switch between essentially being anonymous or not anonymous, either being on the public chain or the private chain. So that's one of their kind of unique features. They also have 5 different mining algorithms that they alternate between with each new block that gets mined. Just so you don't have that 51% attack.
Supposedly, so you don't have that. But what happened yesterday?
But yesterday, some hacker found a couple of bugs and found a way to basically manipulate that so that he was able to change the timestamps on the blocks so that it thought that it was in this one singular algorithm. So he or she was able to use this one algorithm and represented more than 50% of the hash power at that given time, and was able to scoop up
it's a couple 100,000 tokens.
Yeah, I think it was 250,000 tokens.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the actual US dollar amount is. I've heard varying estimates on that, but up to $1 million in actual USD value. And then I was looking at
well, hold on. So because of that, though, they pushed out a fork to
hard fork there.
Yeah, hard fork. And then you were looking at the Bitcoin Talk forums where they were saying that they're still find some good developers to fix your code because we have 2 other bugs that we can exploit if you don't fix this.
Like this fucking hacker came out on Bitcoin Talk and was like, "Hey, it was me. By the way, there's 2 other loopholes. Don't make me, expose you again." So it's just like Jerry Springer right now. It's Jerry. It's pretty cool. It's very very dramatic, and hopefully they do fix it because it sounded pretty serious.
Well, whatever announcement that they have coming April 17th, hopefully it's big for them because, I mean, this is bad PR right here. I mean, let alone not too long ago, their Twitter account was hacked and was used to exploit people and take money from people. So
you think a global company is going to partner up with that? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. You
better
get your shit together, Verge.
Yeah.
I mean, we say that, but then, on our last podcast, we were talking about Facebook and their data breaches and stuff. And now here we are, looking at stuff before the podcast that we wanted to cover and come across where Facebook scans your photos and your links that you send in Messenger. So it's like, what is that company not, reviewing and looking at of yours? Like, they know everything about our lives.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not surprised by any of it, but I think that's an important point, though, is like nowhere safe, it seems like. Even a coin that's supposed to be anonymous and uses all these different hashing algorithms is still it's still possible to hack. It's still human error, people writing code. So it's.
I mean, you're always going to have that human error aspect in there somewhere. It's just, it's like, there you got to differentiate between the good projects, the successful projects out there, and the ones that are aiming, as you said, to be this.
Yeah, I'm just not sure where Verge lands. I don't own any. It hasn't really been on my radar, so to speak, in any kind of in-depth way. I've been familiar with it for a while.
So last week it's up like 50-some%, isn't it?
Yeah. I went like the other day. It was up like 50% in a day.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Who knows where it lands? Maybe it'll end up being this huge top 3 coin as they had actually claimed, which is such a grandiose claim. That'd be cool if they did, but they have some work to do.
Yeah, from the non-investment advice people, we suggest you research and before you buy any Verge and make sure that it's a decision that, to you feels like the right one, because who knows what's going to happen with it.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a lottery ticket. Like, who knows who that global company could be? Maybe it is a big deal. So maybe, throwing a couple bucks at it might be a nice lottery ticket. I haven't jumped in, personally. But.
Neither have I, and I don't know that I really plan to right now.
Yeah,
I kind of want to wait and see what
ducks in a row as they are.
Yeah. Talking about fully baked companies, so we were reading earlier about how Ripple, their CEO, was on. He was on Bloomberg the other day, doing an interview, and so I'm kind of peeling back the layers a little bit on this this article that was written about him being on there, and apparently Ripple has tried to actually pay to get onto exchanges so that people can buy them directly with fiat. So last year, apparently they offered Gemini $1 million to list them, and then went to Coinbase and offered Coinbase $100 million worth in Ripple that they could use to start selling Ripple to end users, and then Coinbase could pay back. I say Ripple XRP. They could pay back Ripple with the XRP or in fiat, and yet Coinbase still didn't decide to list them because of the possible, nervousness behind them being a security. So what do you think about that, Billy? Like trying to become one of the popular kids by essentially like paying to get into the party.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. I mean, it's just interesting because for me, Ripple seems like one of the most legit projects out there. I know they're not really that decentralized, so there's kind of a bad rap in that respect. But from a just polished project that's functioning in the real world, a lot of usage, there's actual value, there's utility there, a great company structure, like they're crushing it, and nobody wants to host them. So I don't know. It's just interesting to me. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if it's because of like a PR move. Maybe Coinbase and Gemini don't think that Ripple's cool enough. Like it's too centralized. I don't know. I'm kind of blown away by it, to be honest.
I'm sure that I'm going to catch some flack for what I'm about to say because, from the rabid Ripple community that's out there, XRP community, I've got no problem per se with it, what they're trying to do. But on the flip side, it's like I love the fact that you can send money from the U.S. to China in the matter of seconds without having to, send it through the normal banking process that takes days. I love that about Ripple. I love that it can do that. Mm-hmm. But it's almost like, to me, like it's and this might not be the correct way of phrasing it, but like a wolf in sheep's clothing in a way. Like, we want to look like we're part of this decentralized world and this decentralized community, but I mean, if you just watch this video where Brad Garlinghouse does an interview on Bloomberg, he talks about how, well, since the beginning, we've worked with regulators on this, and we've worked with them on that. Like, it's good on one hand that you're working with these regulators, but
for me, it's almost like it's like that teacher's pet, like where like the teacher is the government.
Yeah,
they're all kind of like buddy, like, hey, we're cool.
But yet the teacher's pet still wants to be part of the cool crowd.
Exactly, you can't be both.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely torn because I really appreciate a well-run business and I love their approach. But at the same time, to your point, it's not cool. Like, it's not actually decentralized. It's not from the people. It's just two different camps. From an investment standpoint, I think it's pretty much a no-brainer because of the fact that they're working with these larger bodies from the start. It's going to be a stable thing. It's going to be around for a while.
Well, I think it was trading at, I just checked it. I'll check it right now while we're on this podcast. It's trading at about 50 cents now, and 3 months ago it was about $3 a token.
Yeah. Which, I mean, long-term view, it'll hit that again. I mean, right now is a great time to buy any of your favorite projects. Everything's on sale.
Oh, it's totally.
If you have that long-term view. If you're a day trader, you're sweating bullets.
I wish I was getting into it now rather than when I did before this crash, but...
Wish we would have got into it a year ago.
That's true. That's true.
A penny or something.
Yeah, so Ripple's still sitting in the number 3 spot. Bitcoin Cash is holding strong at number 4.
I don't get it.
I mean, it's crazy to me to think that Ethereum, which was $1,200 a coin, is now, trading at below $400.
Yeah, it's like everything's like 75% off. It's like everything's got to go. It's like a mattress sale.
The other one that's we talked about this in our last podcast, but up 34% right now is Tron.
Oh, yeah.
It's a market mover.
Mm-hmm. And Tron, and I brought this up to Justin before we started recording. I was actually really surprised by the size of the Verge community. Like, Verge is within like 10 to 20,000 Twitter followers of Tron. So they're both in the multi-100,000 follower range.
As long as they're real.
Exactly.
It seems like half the shit on Twitter nowadays is fake.
Yeah, I didn't check to see what's the percentage of paid. So that's actually a really good point. They may have both paid for 250,000 followers for $95.
I don't know though. I mean, not a huge Tron guy over here, but the sway that Justin's son has over there is crazy. I mean,
he's got the Alibaba connection.
Yeah, he's every sentence that comes out of his mouth includes the word Alibaba in it in some way.
Exactly.
It's Alibaba
smart,
this,
man.
Alibaba that.
He's making moves. I mean, it's say what you want, but smart dude, and he's making smart partnerships. Time will tell, but I mean, I'm not ready to write it off yet. A lot of people are. You call it vaporware and this and that, but I think he's kind of easing into it, you know.
So yeah, so Verge right now is trading at below 6 cents. It's about $900 million market cap. Interesting. So, anything else on your docket for the? So we're gonna. I mean, obviously, we're going to that conference tomorrow, and we're gonna probably throw up a vlog of us. You know what we've learned from the conference and how it could potentially correlate with the cryptocurrency world. But anything else? You had mentioned to me that you were going to be writing an article on scalping.
Yeah. So I was, given the Syscoin's move, push back a month, it made me start thinking about, well, I really enjoy, I have a lot of patience. I really enjoy just kind of sitting back and playing like that Warren Buffett role. But what if I could do both? What if we could still kind of do that day trading thing, kind of going back to my roots? There's a lot of resources out there that you can find your positions, finding these coins that have good solid trends based on technical analysis, moving averages, all those kinds of things. So I'm going to write an article here shortly. It might be this week. It kind of goes through that thought process and what that daily technique or process would look like. So yeah, that's something to keep on the radar for sure, because I want to start jumping in and out, making some money daily, as well as combining that with some long-term positions like we always have.
Yeah, what were we looking at? We're looking at if you took like, let's say $500 and you made 3% daily for like 6 months.
Yeah,
it would be something like, what was it?
Not like 100,000 or something.
Yeah, it was like $100,000.
$100,000. Like,
yeah,
that's like 3% is not that much.
No.
I think the really important thing is taking the emotion out of it and starting off with a good position, like a good project. So we actually came across a few resources that provide these resources. It's already built out.
That essentially, you're talking about, like tell you whether it's a strong buy, whether
exactly.
it's a sell and stuff like that.
Yeah, it kind of gives you like this, well, you start off with like this big database essentially, and you can kind of filter it out the way you want. What exchange, what buy rating, what sell rating. Do you want just strong sell on Bittrex? Do you want, blah, blah, blah. So that was a really cool find, and we're going to start using that. So yeah, I'm going to put together a nice article / tutorial on what that would look like. Maybe even build an app or something in the future.
Yeah,
we'll see.
And I personally probably will not be putting an article out for the next 4 or 5 days at least, because I have been working on some code to have a few different charts on CryptoFizz that we will pull periodically from different resources. So CryptoFizz will not only be just our articles and our podcast, but it'll also be some resources, so you can pretty much do everything all in one place.
One-stop shop, baby.
Yeah, we're trying to turn this general store into a Walmart.
Target.
We're
classier.
So that's what I've been working on, and I will continue to work on. So we'll have something up shortly. That is pretty much going to be it for this podcast. Like I said, we're going to do a vlog tomorrow after we go to this conference, so be sure to check out cryptofizz.com and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Steemit, everywhere.
On all the platforms.
On them all. We're huge.
I think it's time for a drink.
Yeah. Talk to you guys later. Have a good one.
Peace.